Good afternoon. It's a nice Friday, Corona Friday. Welcome to Folk Tales, Fairy Tales, and Myths. First ever lesson with Learning with Miss Lee. I'm Tera Lee, live here in Hayden, master teacher for Jefferson County Board of Education, and hopefully going to just give you a little bit of insight and a little bit of teaching today. And we're going to talk about folk tales, fairy tales, and myths. First, I want to explain what a folk tale is. Folk tales are stories that were passed around from generation, word of mouth. They weren't written down. There weren't books. There weren't written a lot of written words, and so people just told stories. There was no internet. There was no cable. There was no television. Nothing for you to do at night. And when you were traveling from one country to another country, you would stay at inns, and they would sit around at night and tell stories. And one person from one culture would tell a story, and the other people would listen, and then they would take those stories back to their own culture and change them just a little bit to fit their culture. Say, someone from Africa would tell about a story that had tigers. Well, someone would take that story back to England where there were no tigers, but there were wolves, foxes, and they would change the story just to fit their culture. The meaning of the story would stay the same, but we have similar folk tales from all over the world that have the same storyline, the same plot line, but they are different just by the cultural aspects, animals and seasons and things like that would not fit in the new culture. So these folk tales usually had a good versus evil aspect, with evil usually being defeated in the end. There was a problem that needed to be solved, usually due to the evil that was being there, and so we see these stories, and they're different. They often have animals that have human characteristics in them, so there's a bit of a fairy tale aspect. So leading to fairy tales. Fairy tales are similar to folk tales. They were also passed down from generation to generation, and they would also be told from place to place at night. Like I said, there was no entertainment after dark. So fairy tales, though, have a magical aspect, and Cinderella, Snow White, all of these things have a bit of magic in them. Witches, fairies, giants, dragons, magical spells being cast. And they always begin once upon a time, and they always end, they lived happily ever after. Myths were a type of folk tale that were told down, passed on. But these stories, not only did they have a magical aspect, but they explained nature through magical events. The ones we most commonly known are our Greek mythology, and they explain how the sun crosses the sky in a chariot every morning. He starts off on one side of the earth, and he carries the sun across the sky until it's on the other side at night. There's myths about how the stars came to being. We have a Native American myth. It's called Pushing Up the Sky, and where the Native Americans the sky would come down during the day, and people would go back and forth through in and out of the sky, and then the sky got really low, and they pushed it up with their sticks, and when they poked the holes in the sky, the light would then shine through the sky, through those holes, and those holes became our stars. Now we all know that's not the way it is, but this was the Greek, this was the Native American myth. And then of course the Greeks have all of the constellations and how the constellations got there. And so those are our myths, gods and goddesses and stars and sun and the moon, and they're folk tales, myths, and our fairy tales. So I'm going to read a folk tale today. It's called The Legend of Knockmany. It is a story from Ireland, and it is retold because, like I said, These stories are hundreds of years old. They were passed down and passed down from generation to generation. And so we don't know who wrote the original legend of Knockmany. But it is from Ireland. We do know that. And is retold by Judy, and it is illustrated by Allan, Eitzen. All right. So whenever reading a story, we always look at the cover and at the pictures, and we see on the front there's a giant. Here we see a large man eating bread, and a very large baby actually eating bread in the cradle. So let's turn to the first page. It says, long ago, let's make it a little bit Irish brogue here. Long ago in Ireland, there lived a giant named Finn McCool. Now one day Finn was helping to build the Giant's Causeway when he heard that another giant wanted to fight him to see who was stronger. The giant's name was Cuchulainn. Whoa, Cuchulainn. Must be a scary one. Look how big he is. Look at the little sheep. We can tell he's a giant just by looking at the picture. You don't have to read the words to understand some things. Oh, very large man he is. He has a... Look here. He has a tree using it as a walking stick. Let's read on. This news put a fright in Finn. Cuchulainn was so strong that he once caught a lightning bolt and in his bare hands and smashed it flat as a pancake. Finn pulled up a tree and used it for a walking stick and left for home at once. Agra! Finn, you're trembling, his wife said. And when he got to the house atop Knockmany Hill, Una was worried. Una, my dear, said Finn. Cuchulainn, he's coming after me. Oh, he was very scared. And look, there's more little sheep, little bitty sheep, and little bitty donkey over here looks as small as an ant. Now, Ona doesn't seem to be as worried as Finn, so she goes, you mean the one who carries a thunderbolt in the shape of a pancake? Oh, the same and no other, said Finn. Maybe we'll trick him some pancakes of our own making, she said. Una was grinning. She's got a plan. Now Una was as clever as Cuchulainn was strong, and already her mind was at work on a plan to outwit this bully. Here's our good versus evil, our bully versus the good, our problem and our solution. She handed Finn some baby clothes. Put these on and climb into the cradle, she said. Putting a grown man in the cradle. Wow. Then Una made 12 pancakes of bread. Inside 6 of them she baked ironed pans. Next she took some milk and made curds and whey. She shaped the curds into balls and laid the balls next to a white stone. And if you look, they all look like stone. The balls look like stone. The curds and whey, it's like cheese. Soon there was a mighty knock at the door. Villette, said Uncle, come in. It's Finn McCool here? The visitor asked. Oh, no, he's out looking for that bully Cuchulainn, Una said. Oh, but I am Cuchulainn, said the visitor. Is that so? Well, Finn will be here soon. Sit and have a bite to eat with Finn's son. Oh, there's our trick. That's not Finn's son, that's Finn, but there's a trickery here. Una set the 6 cakes of bread with the pans inside of Cuchulainn. She gave the other to Finn in the cradle. Cuchulainn bit into the cake of bread. It bounced right out of his mouth, taking one of his teeth along with it. What kind of bread is this? Cuchulainn asked. It's as hard as iron. Well, it should be. Let's get on in it. Ah, but it's made from Finn's own family recipe, said Una. And in the cradle, Finn smashed the 6 cakes of bread with apples in them, crashed them into his mouth, smiled up at Cuchulainn. He wasn't having any problem. The baby wants to play, said Una. He loves to squeeze water out of stones. She handed Finn the bottle of curd. She watched him, and he squeezed the water out, and the water oozed out. Then he popped it into his mouth, and he chewed and swallowed. Oh, it looks just like a stone, but we know different. Cuchulainn picked up a rock. He squeezed the stone, but nothing came out. He bit into it. Out bounced another one of his teeth. He's going to need dentures before long. What kind of choppers does this baby have? Asked Cuchulainn. He put his finger into Finn's mouth to find out. And Finn, why, he bit down as hard as he could. Cuchulainn howled in pain. If the baby's this strong, I hope never to meet his father. He headed for the door. He said, well, tell Finn McCool I am no longer looking for him. He said, and the earth shook as Cuchulainn ran out of the valley, and some folks say, all the way out of Ireland altogether. Well, I hope you enjoyed our lesson and our story today. I hope you understand you don't have to fight bullies. There's our lesson. Bullies don't have to be fought. Just trick them out of the way. Trick them. Tell them you're not afraid of them. And they'll eventually go away. Hope you enjoyed the story. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. And see you next time.